All right, week 32, day 5 of agile process, agile workflow. And we're going to look at a continuous discovery guide. And this can be a big task, and it's partly because it requires a little bit of imagination. I'm going to make a correction here. I'm going to remove that hypothetical. Part of the challenge here is that you are going to be creating content that directly supports you right now. So this is the usability of a slice prototype, or the slice prototype, because you're just working on one slice. But you may have to work on it in context. And so when you're thinking about writing the questions or the prompts for this, you're going to have to think about it within context and how you might test out that slice. But then you'll expand from that and say, well, the product this exists in, what do I need to explore over the next 3 months? And then what do I need to explore over the next year for long term? And it could be even longer than a year if you have questions to ask about sort of the future of what it means to even do that type of work. And then the previous release, you're thinking about what potentially could you have delivered in the previous sprint that could use validation. So getting the users in to actually use the software and getting feedback on it to see how potentially it could improve how successful you were in your assumptions. Relatively big task because it requires that imagination, but we're also asking, you're going to write an intro to your discussion guide, which should perpetuate. Once you write your intro, it should be foundational to how you create your continuous discovery every week, and talk about how many participants you'll need and what sort of characteristics do they need? How often do they use the software? What tasks do they need to be working on in the software to make them relevant to the interactions that you're working on? And then the script itself, how do you produce, between 1 to 5 questions for long time conceptual needs, midterm prompts on possible delivery on feature improvement, the script around your slice, how do you prompt them to interact with it in a way that tests the efficacy of the solution without telling them exactly how to do it? How to use it, telling them exactly how to use it, and then what it might look like to have a script for a previous feature. So 1, 2, and 4 are kind of hypothetical and what they could be testing and what you could be evaluating. But it's definitely worth thinking through just to get an idea of what a continuous discovery guide may look like at a given point in time. So the output will be this discovery guide, including the section with these 4 levels, or maybe even 3 levels if you want, with the questions or prompts within them. So like I said, it's a relatively big task, but I think it's worth going through because even if you don't succeed in 1, 2, and 4, it's good to think through them and try it out. And congratulations on making it through week 32. If you've never done this sort of thing before, it could have been a fairly challenging week. There are some things that were familiar, sort of old hats to wear, like sketching UIs. But there's certainly some challenging things in here, like thinking and considering how to slice a feature in a way that's deliverable, where each piece is a meaningful improvement to the system and grows on some of your hypotheses about how the software could support the customer. So congratulations on making it through it, and I'm excited to see your final output for this week and your thoughts about how this went and where your challenges were and where your successes were. Thank you so much for participating.